Pick tile, they said, right? It's easy. Lots of colors out there, just go pick one, right? It's not that easy. The choices are endless. The materials are overwhelming and the pressure is real. Tile is hard to choose, it's hard to install, it's hard to remove, it's expensive, and it is a major design element in whatever else you're doing. We want to make a good choice that we can live with a long time. When I'm thinking about buying tile, I think about the color I want. I think about the style of my house, the architectural features, the furniture that's going in there. What else is going on in the design first? Because I want the tiles to complement that. I don't want to put glass shiny tiles in a farmhouse. I don't want to put white subway in a sleek contemporary home. So tile styles, colors, shape, patterns all have design styles that they may be linked to. So you want to consider that when you choose them as well. The material that you choose might be appropriate to some types of homes and not to others. Like, for instance, I'd expect to see marble in a really traditional home. I'd expect to see maybe porcelain slabs in a contemporary home. There are different types of materials that might be better suited to different styles. If I want a Tuscan-inspired bathroom, I'm going to look for limestone. Same thing with the finishes, shiny versus matte. Do they suit the architectural style, the design style that you're going for, the vibe you want? When it comes to tiles, there's lots of different ways you can install it, lots of different colors, features, textures, finishes. So all of those things need to be considered in conjunction with the architectural style of your house, the furnishings, the vibe that you want to feel when you go in this bathroom. Do you want it to feel like a spa? Do you want it to feel like a man cave? You have to decide, and that's going to help narrow your choices, because there are tons out there, and you've got to do something to narrow those choices. All right, now let's pack all this up. That's the no fun part about tile. You got to carry the samples, but take it with you. You want to see the tile in the light. All right, this is a better indicator right here of what it will be like with light. This is a pool bathroom in a bungalow. We don't really have an architectural style necessarily, so it's sort of mid-century I Dream of Jeannie, Florida, which is really non-existent architectural details. So we're kind of making it up as we go along here. Now I chose this large format tile because I like blue and because it reminded me of being in the spin cycle. If you've ever surfed or rode waves, you know when you're getting your butt kicked by Mother Nature turned around, this is pretty much what you see. Something to consider when you get these large format tiles, these 2x4, 24 by 48 inch tiles that are very popular right now, there's a lot more waste. Normally when you buy tiles, they'll tell you 10% waste. So if I have 100 square feet to cover, I would order 110 square feet of tile. These tiles have more waste because they're big. And when you have to make a cut, you've destroyed the whole slab. When you have little pieces, little tiles, you've got a lot more wiggle room. You have to make a lot less cuts. So there's more waste when you order these. Something to keep in mind. Your architectural style will help to dictate what kinds of materials will be appropriate. Also, what kinds of patterns you put those materials in. For instance, I've got a Versailles pattern or a French pattern outside in limestone around the pool. A Versailles pattern tends to be more traditional, more old world in its feeling. I'd expect to see subway in a farmhouse. I'd expect to see a Versailles in a Tuscan kitchen. So different patterns may also go with the architectural style of your home. If I have a really traditional house, I might want penny rounds or hex on the bathroom floor. The thickness and the color of your grout is going to have a great impact on how the bathroom feels. If you have thick grout, first of all, you're going to have a lot of staining. We all know nobody's getting in there every year and sealing that grout. And if you are, I am proud of you. You're the one and only. For the rest of us with fat grout, it's going to stain. So a 1/16 of an inch, that's plenty. That'll give me a little grip. That'll give me a lot less to clean. So grout is a cleaning consideration. It's also a style consideration. When you see those fatter grouts, I immediately go to the 90s and 2000s. The grout width is specific to certain time periods, certain design styles, so a Mediterranean, a Tuscan feel, a chiseled edge. When I see those fatter grout lines, I'm going to think those older design styles, so it's more in keeping with that. The edge details, I talked about the chiseled edge, yeah. The size of the tile also has a big impact on how it feels. Like in here, I have 2x4 porcelain slabs on the wall. It gives it a more expansive feel. It also gives me a whole lot less grout to clean on the walls. You can see they're a high gloss. That would not be well suited to the floor because this is a pool house with lots of kids, lots of guests, lots of grandmas. We don't want anyone slipping. So the floor is a matching smaller matte finish. Put you back up here. So large format's easier to clean, but when you get them, when you're looking at large format tiles, and if you get a sample like I did that's about this big, it is not indicative of the entire slab, of the entire tile. So make sure you are aware of the patterns. Like for instance, this tile has some crazy patterns going on in it. If I got a sample just of this blue here, I would have been really disappointed to see all this craziness come in. Well, this is just a little piece of a 24 by 48 thing. It's got nice shine, it's gonna reflect back light. When you're ordering tile like this, I ordered this from Tile Bar online, you get a 6 by 6 piece. It is not indicative of a 2 by 4 tile, which this is what I'm going to order. So make sure you know what it looks like in a big slab. Go see it, touch it, this ain't gonna do. So you have to know what you're getting. These 24 by 48 tiles are really popular now, and they're great because they give you less grout lines on the wall. They wouldn't give me the slip coefficient, the slip grit, the safety on the floor. That's why we have a coordinating matte hex to give us a little bit more grit and a little bit more grout lines. When you get these big slabs, you've got to have a pretty good substrate. It's got to be a flat wall behind it. Back when I was a kid, it was very popular to have tile up, halfway up the wall, 3/4 of the way up the wall, and that meant you had made it. Then, around 2000s or so, it became a little bit more popular to have the bathroom be more like a room. So it had less tile. The shower portion was still tiled, but the walls themselves were less tiled. And now we're back to slabs going floor to ceiling, porcelain everywhere. And they're beautiful, but you have to consider the substrate, the wall behind it, when you use those slabs. It's got to be perfect. Your installer has got to be right on point. The installation of those 5 by 9, 5 by 8 porcelain slabs in bathrooms requires the most perfect substrate, the most perfect backing, the most perfect pre-installation of the tile setup. So you've got to have a tile installer that really knows this stuff in order to use those big slabs and to get it done well. Another thing you need to think about with the tile is what it can do for the illusion of light and space. When you use those grout lines diagonally, it pushes the walls apart. It makes the room feel bigger. When you stack your tiles vertically, it makes the rooms feel taller. When you stack them horizontally, again, you create horizontal lines and you bring the ceiling down. When you tile just one wall, you pull all the attention back that way. When you use horizontal tiles in a long bathroom, perpendicular to the way the bathroom runs, it makes the bathroom feel larger because it pushes the lines this way when your eye is naturally going that way. You can use your grout lines as a visual aid. So when I took design drawing in grad school, you did your visual start points out from that. That's what your grout lines are. They trick the eye. The eye naturally follows the lines. So if you want to make the walls, if you want to push the walls out, make the lines go this way or this way. If you want to make the bathroom seem longer, make the walls go this way. If you want it to be taller, use vertical tiles, use vertical elements. If you want it to feel more cozy, use horizontal lines to bring the ceiling down. You can play with not only the grout lines, but the grout color. The effect of the grout color is dramatic. So if you use a white subway tile with a black Grout, you're going to get a very graphic, very contemporary, very farmhouse even look. If you use it white with a white grout, you're going to get a very spa-like, very soothing, very clean look. So what colors you choose, the width, what direction it goes, you see what I'm talking about. This starts to get crazy. I have to talk about light and safety. Take note of that recessed light that's reflected in that tile. Take note of the lighted mirror that's reflected again in that tile. When you use shiny, glass, reflective tiles, ceramic, that kind of thing, porcelain that's polished, it will bounce back light. It will increase the amount of light in the room. It will also give you some glare issues we're going to talk about in the next video. I got ways to fix it. This sparkle is going to give some light to this dark bathroom. I'm not sure about this tile in particular, this hex, but something along these lines in a blue sparkly. This one just happens to match so nicely. It's got some of that iridescent, so it picks up the browns and coppers from its. In contrast, the floor tile is matte, and so that's going to absorb the light. You're also going to get the same effect with light tile versus dark tile. All right, this one might be rough, but what I want to do is get an idea of this tile, how it's going to look in the light in this new bathroom. So the shower is going to be back here. So the tile is going to be on this wall, and the wall over there. So it's going to reflect that light that you see there and whatever light fixtures we do. So I just want to get an idea of it in this space. It's a nice pink blush. Dark tile is going to diffuse or to absorb or suck in the light, whereas lighter tile or white tile is going to bounce the light back and make a space feel a little bit more airy. All right, last up is the impossible tile. This is for this bathroom here, and probably just for this back wall because it's tremendously expensive. So not in the accent, but on the wall itself, I'm thinking it's also dark. So if I put a dark tile, even though we're adding that window back in, it's gonna push that wall out. It's gonna be crazy. Light on each side, and then we have dark cabinets here. So the challenge with this tile is it's dimensional. So can you see that? It's got a little bit of a raised edge to it, so cutting this is going to be a nightmare. But man, is that going to be pretty. Don't put slippery tile on the floor. It's as simple as that.
The ambulance is racing.
So take a bottle of water with you to the tile store, and when you fall in love with some shiny ceramic mosaic to go on your shower pan, pour water on it. See how slippery it is. You, naked, firemen, ambulances, not a good thing. This is a nice 12 by 24, really rough, feels like slate. It is a porcelain, so I won't have the issues that I did with real slate where the layers actually pop up. Gotta remind you, tile is a long-term commitment. I want you to think long and hard about this. That trend you love, that zilegi, whatever, however you say it, tile with all the rough hewn edges. How's that gonna look in 15 years when your kids have been taking showers in there and the mold's built up on all those uneven grout lines? Think about trends, think about long-term, think about timeless investments in large, hard to remove items in your home. So how do you choose? First of all, you got to know what else is going in there, know what your style is, know what the architectural features of your home are. Then, what are the furnishings? What's the vanity? What are the lights you like? What are the fixtures that you're going for? Then, pick a tile. Pick the fabulous tile. Pick the accent. Pick the expensive tile. And then match it with all of the field tile. Find things that coordinate with it, that go with it for your field tile, for your floor tile, for your filler tile, for your accent tile in the niche. Find the hardest tile, the one you've fallen in love with, and match everything else to that. There's tons of rules in design, and one of them is only one pattern, one tile pattern per bathroom. And we know rules are meant to be broken. This is your home, this is your style, you can express yourself, do what you want. This is one of those rules you should listen to. One major pattern. Don't get crazy. This is a semi-permanent thing you are committing to. If you're having a crazy moment and you want purple and orange and you put it in your tile and you're stuck with it for 15 years, that's a really long crazy moment. Think long and hard about what you choose for tile. Make sure it's timeless. Choose a tile that can change and grow with you. So a neutral tile with a pretty accent that you can change out accessories and your toothbrush holder and your towels and that shower curtain, whatever it might be, gives you a lot more flexibility and a lot more longevity in that design. Thanks so much for watching. Happy shopping. I'll see you next time.